Arjunaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavada Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Kratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavate Ashtadashadyayini Ambatvamanusandathami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita-mrita-tuhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Yodha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita-mritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Hari Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Hari Om. Warm welcome to everyone for our satsang on Bhagavad Gita. You can just push that aside. Right. We'll begin with a little bit of chanting. Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna 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 Sharanam Mama Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Okay. We are indeed very lucky to be studying Bhagavad Gita and beginning right from chapter 1. This Bhagavad Gita is the most popular scriptural text, most popular text actually in the world. Countless people over generations and generations, since time, I want to say immemorial, but Bhagavad Gita does have a date in a different yuga. So as old as the hills, intellectuals and poets and men of action, leaders have been reflecting on the messages of Bhagavad Gita. Freedom fighters, politicians, ordinary householders, and everybody wants to say something more about it. That is the beauty. It has been translated from Sanskrit into so many different languages, and still to date, people are writing commentaries about the treasure trove of wisdom and how it can be applied to modern life. So it is a very popular text. It is very much an appreciated text from all spheres of life. And whenever anybody studies it, they find something relevant to their own life. So this is the very Gita that we are going to study. It has become synonymous with Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma. People don't know the Vedas, but they know Bhagavad Gita. People don't know about Bhagavatam, Ramayana, but they know about Bhagavad Gita. Here in the Caribbean, Ramayana has taken a special place because of the history. But as our Puja Swami Prakashananda ji explains, Bhagavad Gita is the script and Ramayana is the drama, is the play. What happens in Ramayana is laid out, what's supposed to happen, why it's supposed to happen, who succeeds, who fails. All of that is laid out in Bhagavad Gita and demonstrated in the Ramcharitamanas. It is such a great text that Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself is quoted to explain its mahima. What is that? First, there's one incident after the Mahabharata war. Arjuna asked Shri Krishna to tell that knowledge again. And who wouldn't ask? Having heard it having inspired Arjuna to fight, he wanted to hear it again. And Bhagavan said that he cannot give it again because it was given when Bhagavan was in a state of yoga, yogastha he was in. And in that state of mastery, what you call flow, I think they use in modern language. In that state, he produced this master work, and masterpieces cannot be repeated. But Bhagavan gave the same knowledge again, and that is called Anugita. But nobody knows about that. What we know about is Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita itself, the Lord says, Gita me hridayam partha. This Bhagavad Gita is my heart. If you wanted to put it poetically, Bhagavan Shri Krishna opened his heart and showed what is inside when he gave this Bhagavad Gita. And he didn't just give it to Arjuna. He used Arjuna as an instrument, nimitta, so he could provide this message to all. Gita means sung, a song, right? And it is a beautiful discourse between a guru and a shishya, a master and a true seeker. And in this case, that guru is none other than Narayana Swayam, the Lord himself. So it has that speciality also in our tradition, by being a shastra given by the Lord himself. And if you study Bhagavad Gita, you need not study anything else. Just this one scripture itself is enough. In fact, just a Bhagavad Gita kinchitadita, it says in Bhajagovindam, just a little bit is enough to cross over samsara. And Yamraj will not have any charcha with you. He'll not have any if you just practice. So it is and more than enough. It is from the Lord himself and praised by all. And we get to study it from the beginning. Yes. That Bhagavad Gita has within it devotion and knowledge. So if you have come seeking wisdom to apply to your life, to lift yourself, to find your inner greatness, to shoulder more responsibility in life with inspiration, to gain, if you have come for that wisdom which can be applied, devotion and bhakti, that you will also find. And the scriptures tell that knowledge begets devotion and devotion begets knowledge, both ways. So the one who takes up to the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita finds himself having devotion for the Lord in the form of the whole universe. And the one who begins with love for the Lord of his heart, or in whatever form, he finally finds himself getting knowledge about his oneness with the whole universe. So all of that is fulfilled. The text comes in a larger text called Mahabharata. The Mahabharatam is a itihasa, a historical epic. And last week we saw a sketch of the story so as to bring the Bhagavad Gita's shine out even more. One interesting thing is the knowledge that is given in Bhagavad Gita is no different than the knowledge of the Upanishads. And the difference, though, is that the Upanishads are given in the Himalayas, on a mountain side, in a forest, by a river, the places where there this knowledge is given. They have been hijacked by ego, and in history have given people the excuse to commit all kinds of crimes. The war is against desirable and undesirable qualities in the heart, gunas and durgunas. The war is between my freedom shining through in my own heart and the coverings born of ignorance and ego and delusion. You'll have to use this type of long language to explain. The war is between, in simple terms, good guys and bad guys in my own heart. And they were personified as the Kauravas, the wicked fellows, the family of the Kauravas on one side, and the family of the Pandavas on the other side. The sons of Dhritarashtra, the blind king, and Pandu, the other brother, his sons, and the armies that assembled. We saw the story last time. War means destruction. War means death. War means confronting entropy and decadence. War means facing our worst selves. War means standing up against our history of indulgence and our habits that bring us down. This is what war means. And there will be pain involved. And in the face of that pain, Arjuna didn't want to fight. In his case, he has to fight with my family on the other side. In our case, we have to fight with my own weaknesses inside. And we'd rather escape and open the phone and watch a movie or whatever. We'd rather escape and take a break, take a nap, or eat something more, or play some music, or take a shortcut, or bribe somebody, or rationalize. We have so many types of escape. But Lord Krishna prevents Arjuna from doing that. And Arjuna admits that he is on the threshold of that battle and he needs help. It is very interesting that that knowledge is given in the center, in the middle of Bhagavad Gita. I mean, in the middle of Mahabharata. In the 6th canto, around the 24th or 5th chapter of Mahabharata comes Bhagavad Gita for 18 chapters. And that is about the center of Mahabharata. In the center of the battlefield. So in the center of the text, at the central point in the story, at the center of the literal battlefield, Kurukshetra, which you can go and see in Bharat now. It is not far, I am told, from New Delhi. People go all the time and they perform great dana and do punya karma there because, as we saw and we'll see, it's also called Dharmakshetra. Anyways, on that battlefield, in the center, the knowledge is given to Arjuna. It has a great symbolic meaning, and that is, I am fit to make my upward journey or inward journey only when I come to the center. Come to the center means, first, I am willing to admit that I don't know. I have left the side of rationalization, of protecting my weaknesses, and I have come to the middle. I have not gone to the other side, but I'm in the center, looking for help. I have also not gone too far on the side of my likes and dislikes. I'm holding my energy and life seeking something greater. This type of intellectual surrender is required for the Gitas to begin. And the advice will be to stay in the center, means with equanimity. And it will end also deeply in surrender. This, which started in intellectual center, characterized by not holding on to my opinion, will end in complete surrender of the ego, characterized by not holding on to my small identity. So it begins and ends in the same trend. So the direction, the instructive element of that symbolism is that we have to be humble in the face of our weaknesses. We don't have to, by brute force and willpower, overcome the negativities in us. It is through humility, which begets knowledge, that we will overcome our weaknesses. This is the sort of symbolism. Right. Then the text is given by Veda Vyasa, Bhagavan Veda Vyasa, avatara of Narayana himself. The Lord takes avatar of Veda Vyasa, and in Hinduism, he's given such a great place. For his Jayanti, we have Guru Purnima. Guru Purnima every year falls on Veda Vyasa's birthday. The day that we worship the Guru, for the whole tradition, we chose the birthday of one of the avatars, or we want to say great Sant, Mahatma, Jnani, Nishta, Purusha, just embodiment of realization, Vedavyasa. He's so central to our modern Hinduism. He is the one who composed this Mahabharata, in which you have Bhagavad Gita in his mind, being a contemporary of that whole times, being present at the war, having seen everything that happened. He composed this Mahabharata and penned it down for us. It wasn't enough for him to just capture the story. Bhagavan Veda Vyasa wanted to capture it lock it in Sanskrit, lock it in meter so it can be chanted, so that the heart of Sri Krishna, which came out in Bhagavad Gita and rests in the what you call a diamond suave box of the Mahabharata, right? That diamond which is sitting in that, he wanted to capture it so the rest of humanity can benefit. This battle has happened again and again and again. Warriors have gone to fight. Bhagavan himself has manifested and given advice. Let all of humanity save themselves from suffering through this, studying this story, and finally the Bhagavad Gita. I didn't tell so far that in order to compose this, Bhagavan needed a stenographer. And he prayed to Brahmaji for that help. Brahmaji advised that Ganeshji is the right one to be this stenographer. He is Devata of the Buddhi and master of all Vidya, all knowledge. So he is responsible for overseeing intellectual function in any being, and he is the master of all knowledge. So Vedavyas again prayed and invoked Ganeshji and got his darshan and asked for this boon or this work to be stenographer. Accepted with one condition, that Vedavyasa should not stop composing. non-stop composing. And meaning to say, it shouldn't be that Ganeshji is there writing and then Vyasa says, okay, I want to take a break. I'll come back in an hour, have a cup of tea, Ganeshji, or have some laddu. I'll be back. Nothing like that. If I'm going to manifest to do this work, non-stop composing. So Vyasa said in response, okay, but I also have a condition. You please do not write anything down that you don't understand, that you haven't fully grasped. So it's said that whenever Vyasa wanted time to compose and bring out an idea, he would give such a shloka that Ganeshji needed a moment. And to do non-stop writing, you need the right pen. You wouldn't be able to use an Apple pencil. It wouldn't last one day. You wouldn't be able to use a lead pencil or a modern ink pen. Ganeshji broke one of his tusks to do that job. So, right in every murti, in every mandir in Guyana where you have Ganeshji and you have only one tusk, it reminds us of the greatness of Bhagavad Gita. Ganeshji himself showed sacrifice for the welfare of the whole Jagat to participate in passing down this knowledge to all of us. And we get to study that Bhagavad Gita. Right? It is this text that will offer you everything. Artha, Kama, Moksha. All the fourfold goals in life. The Chatushka Purushartha, right? The fourfold pursuits in life will all be given. Means all the wealth and pleasures of normal life, artha and kama, as well as joy here and hereafter, dharma, as well as lasting peace, moksha, all of that is given by one who studies and practices what is there in the Upanishads and has come through now the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. It is called Smriti because it was remembered by Lord Krishna and told. Shruti is caught from the universe by the rishis, and even though it has come from the Lord himself, it is technically classified as Smriti or remembered knowledge and organized. It has within it what? What is it going to teach us? Well, people read into the Bhagavad Gita so many insights into management, insights into psychology, insights into parenting, insights into leadership, insights into self-development. So many talks are there, right? Essentially, as I mentioned earlier, Bhagavad Gita is giving principles of life. He who puts his hand in the fire gets burned. That's a principle. That's not in Bhagavad Gita, but like that. He who, it makes a statement, does so and so, yaha, he who does this, he gets that result. And then it draws out the necessary conclusions, hints at how we should behave, gives the yoga to practice that principle to bring prosperity and absolute good in our life. Abhyudaya nishreyasa. Right? So this is what you'll find in Bhagavad Gita. Specifically, what principles are taught? Two types of principles are taught in Bhagavad Gita. One is about dharma. Dharma means what? Now, one way to think about it is dharma is going to allow, dharma means, comes from the root dhr, which means to uphold. And Gurudev gives a wonderful definition. Dharma means the law of being. It is that which allows a thing to remain a thing. Or in other words, there is something in everything which allows it to continue to be itself. Like, let me ask you, what is it that holds a family together? Is it money? Is it food? Is it good Father's Day, good Mother's Day celebration? It is love that holds a family together. It is love. So, dharma for family life is love. All about love. Correct or not? And if adharma in family life will be to create division and hate and to not be concerned with the welfare of those in the family, not sacrifice and act out that love. So dharma is that which upholds something. And like that, in all entities, people, situations, physical structures, personalities, you will find something you can call as the dharma or the law of being of that thing. Okay, so this is philosophical. Now, how does that apply to me? Dharma, or living for dharma, sacrificing to maintain the order that we see in this universe, which allows for everybody to grow and evolve. Living for that is what gives life meaning. Taking the responsibility to shoulder a burden, if you want to say, to shoulder a duty so as to maintain dharma in society, that gives joy to life, that gives meaning to life. So the principles, if you want to put it this way, the principles on how to give meaning and joy and thus create a prosperous society, the meaning and joy to my actions and thus make a meaningful society, that is what is taught. Dharma in that sense, doing one's duty for loka sangraha, the welfare of the world. Arjuna wants to engage in karma that does not have a great goal, is not noble, is not going to support dharma, and he thinks that that is going to help him, that is going to give him joy, and he has a hard time facing up to the responsibility in front of him. And Lord Krishna has to inspire him, has to teach him that it is only by voluntarily taking on a great burden, taking on a great work and responsibility, that you are going to find joy in life. So it is a call to action. It is like Lord Krishna blowing the shank and shaking our personality so that we gain energy to stand up and live for one another. This is dharma. And through that, standing on our own 2 feet, shouldering some responsibility for the welfare of others, it is through that whole exercise a person gains a kind of peace you will never find in simple short-term pleasures. And that gives joy hereafter also. So principles about such dharma are taught in Bhagavad Gita. So that's one whole bucket or category or column. The other is about one's inner potential. All the principles about how, when you do act ethically, nobly, responsibly for the welfare of others, you're actually bringing out your own inner divinity. What that inner divinity is, what the diamond in your heart is, what your inner potential and greatness is, and how far it is from you, and really what is the extent and boundaries of your own greatness, that is called as Brahman. So the principles related to one's own inner greatness, which is, as Bhagavad Gita is going to reveal, the one and the same greatness in any one thing, is the one and the same as the greatness of what makes the Lord. That whole category of topics is called as Brahma Vidya, knowledge about Brahman. And the other is Dharma Vidya, knowledge about upholding this universe. So Together, through the message of Bhagavad Gita, you get the general thesis, which is to active resistance against evil, adharma. Active resistance against adharma for a twofold reason. One, because through those principles, we shoulder responsibility and gain joy. And two, because through acting out those principles, we also let our own greatness come to shine in our mind and we actually become one with it. In Sanskrit, it is called Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha. For the purpose of my own, discovering my own inner greatness and freedom, which we call as realization, moksha. For that purpose and for the purpose of the welfare of the world, we have this whole Bhagavad Gita. It is the most important type of knowledge. It has to be studied by all of us every day a little bit and shared with every young person in Guyana and wherever you might be. It has to be shared profusely. Because as it is studied, even if a little bit is embodied, the whole world becomes a better place. It also leads to victory. Don't forget that. Because we face a war, we're trying to get somewhere in life. Like Arjuna is trying to fight a battle. It leads to jaya. It leads to victory. Okay, so it's not just a philosophy, it's also a method for prosperity. Not just for peace, but also for prosperity. It is of only 700 shlokas, this whole Bhagavad Gita, in its 18 chapters, and not all are of equal lengths. Chapter 1, which we are seeing, it has over 70 verses. Chapter 12 is the shortest chapter, or one of the shortest chapters with 20 verses. Like that. Okay, so let us study now the story from the heart of Paramatma as it was revealed, right? And it begins now with Dhritarashtra, the blind king, who is sitting in his palace and asking Sanjaya, his charioteer, his devoted and pure-hearted and wise minister Sanjaya, about what happened in the war. Sanjaya knows what happened in the war because Vedavyasa blessed him with a divine eye, Divya Drishti, that allowed him to see what was happening on the battlefield as it was happening. And he could see it all at one time. He could see even the motivations and what was going on inside the minds of different characters. This might sound like something you've never heard before, but don't thus conclude that it's not possible. This vision Vedavyasa gave to Sanjaya. He offered it also to Dhritarashtra, but Dhritarashtra did not want to see what was going on in that battlefield. He only wanted to hear from Sanjaya. Sanjaya was present during the battle, but on the 10th day, Bhishma fell. He didn't die, he fell, having been pierced with so many arrows that it became like a bed for him when he had fallen. Lying on a bed of arrows on the 10th day, the commander and chief, Bhishma, the most powerful one on the side of the Kauravas, the one who had the boon to die whenever he wanted, he fell. Sanjaya went back to the palace, reported this to Dhritarashtra with hopes that Dhritarashtra at that point would call off the war. At any moment, the king sitting in the palace could have called off this war between these two sides at the helm cousins. On one side are his brother's children, the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas, and then the other side what he calls my children, the Kauravas. He could have called it off at any moment, but he didn't. with a hope in his heart for Dhritarashtra to call off the war, he tells this. And then what happens? Then actually Dhritarashtra says something. So now we begin. What did he say? Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Please take out your Bhagavad Gita and you can chant along. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kim Kurvata Sanjaya Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. So first of all, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. His name is hard to say. Shtra, you have to say. His name means one who had a control or wielded over the nation. Over the Rashtra, he had the Dhriti. He held the nation. That is what his name means. The ruler over the nation. He said, hey Sanjaya, Sanjaya is the last word. He's calling out to his minister. He asks a question. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is also a field of Dharma, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, where all these two have gathered desiring to fight. Which two? Mamaka Pandavaschaiva, certainly my own children and the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas. Kim Akurvata, Sanjaya, what happened? Tell me what happened in this battle between my children and the Pandavas. Like that. Now, what did they do? Kim Akurvata means exactly what did they do? Right? Dhritarashtra is wondering because it wasn't expected that Bhishma would fall. He's wondering now who else maybe has fallen, what happened on the battlefield, like that. And in his very first question, you get to understand he is blinded with minus towards his family, towards his children. First and foremost, Duryodhana, as we saw in the story last week. Those on Facebook, we had an issue with the internet. We're just waiting for the Zoom to come back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. All right. Welcome back, everyone. You didn't miss anything. We paused. Had an issue with the internet. Okay. So we were just about to talk about what tension right? As we start to see the very important, poor discriminatory intellect, the bias of Dhritarashtra, which was what? His tendency to view life in terms of my people and them. That sort of thinking was responsible for the whole war. And that poor thinking of the leader is highlighted here by Vedavyasa in this very phrasing. The very first word of the Bhagavad Gita is dharma. And the very last word at the end of the Bhagavad Gita will be mama. Sanjaya is speaking and he says that's... Anyways, we'll see. Mama. The two words together, dharma and mama, actually summarize the whole message in between. Mama dharma is the theme of Bhagavad Gita. And we said earlier, meaning of dharma will mean working for the welfare of the law of being or the preserving of order in this universe. Dharma can also refer to philosophically as the thing which upholds me, which is Brahman. So it means Brahma Vidya also. Mama Dharma is the topic of the Gita. Again, to see the great pen and brilliant intellect of Vedavyasa. The whole theme, if you can get it down to two words, and then also place those words at the beginning and the end of the Gita. Where will you find such a text? So, dharma means my swarupa also. So, this is the issue here. The king sees minus first when he analyzes things. And okay, so he sees like that. Thank you for telling me. Well, the relevance to our life, and this will persist throughout the Gita, and especially in this first chapter, wherever you see, you observe a weakness in any one of the characters of this historical epic, a true sadhaka is supposed to say, oh, you're supposed to be able to understand that behavior and what is the durguna behind them going on in the mind, what is the undesirable emotion, thought, false value in their mind, and use that as a mirror to help detect it in my own heart. So this is a detection mechanism. And then through our study of Bhagavad Gita, we find out how to substitute the opposite, the better. And vice versa also. If you see a great quality in whoever, it might be in the Kauravas also. You detect, oh, what a great quality, I also should practice that. So selfishness, mamatvam, mamaka, the word is used here. Mama, this word keeps coming. Mama means mine in Sanskrit. Mamatvam means my-ness. The tvam means ness. So selfishness, mine-ness is the essential disease that we all have. We're all afflicted with a sense of mine-ness, and that is actually going to be the cause of destruction in life. That will be the source of strength for the inner enemy and the outer enemy. Minus. Selfishness, concern for my own well-being, my own happiness, the happiness of my people. So who is my people? Here it is the Kauravas. In my life, it is my family. When I am ready to put dharma, my duty of even my own family, at that moment, I'm message of Gita. This is this idea coming through. So, happened on the battlefield of Dharma called Kurukshetra. O Sanjaya, Sanjaya responds, Sanjaya uvacha. See the next verse. mohanastata. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Acharya upasangamya Raja vachanam abravit. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Sanjaya said, "O Maharaj, he's speaking to Dhritarashtra. When the two armies assembled there on the battlefield, you want to know what happened? Well, and it was told earlier, assembled how? On one side you had 11 akshauhinis, 11 battalions, each with hundreds of thousands of soldiers, and including elephants and chariots and cavalry and so many different types of great warriors with so many types of missiles and weapons and mantra weapons and all of that on one side. 11 battalions. And on this other side, the side of the good Pandavas, the side of the Lord, they had only 7. 7 versus 11. So outnumbered. Also, they don't have all the valiant, famous warriors. Those are on the Kaurava side. They also just came back from from hiding in the forest, so they don't have the wealth of the other side. They have all the ammunition and supplies, more on the other side. The Kauravas are more well-equipped, more in numbers, more famous warriors, and the Pandavas are less in every regard. And Vyudham, they are assembled for battle. Every day of the battle, they would take a different shape to their army. There's so many different types of arraying the battlefield, they say. The warriors are arrayed. So at this point, the Pandavas were in a chakra shape, and the Kauravas were in an eagle shape with their, spread out like an eagle ready to pounce. Because they were less in number, and maybe the chakra, the circular shape, was better for the start of the war. Right? Acharyam upasamgamya. Having seen the army arrayed, Duryodhana approached his Acharya, Dronacharya. Drona being the one who taught both the Kaurava boys and the Pandava boys. The Guru, who was a Brahmana first, and also the best teacher of archery and warfare, he's also on the side of the Kauravas. And so Duryodhana approached him. O Raja, O Maharaj, O King. And he said the following, Vachanam Abravit. What did he say? Now, Duryodhana is going to become very talkative in this next section, right? And the Durguna, the undesirable quality we are seeing in Duryodhana is fear. And it is not said directly, it is showed by his behavior, his words. You and I know very well, when we are afraid, we become talkative. Even if it is you're walking out at night and there's nobody to talk to, in the dark, in fear, we whistle. We hum a song to ourselves. I'm not alone. I'm very strong. We're going to be okay. You sing something because out of fear. And if you're with somebody, go and, like how children go to the room of their brother or sister, family member when there's lightning. I don't know if they do that in Guyana, but in North America, that is a common thing. Children get scared. Dogs get scared. They go look for the person in the house, right? So now Duryodhana is going to, having seen the Pandava army, his side being bigger, more well-equipped, he gets afraid. Interesting, you might say. And now you get to see how he deals with that. Let us chant the next verse. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharyam Mahatim Jamo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Yudham Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So now says Acharya. So that is called, oh, hey Acharya, oh my great teacher. Look at these sons of Pandu. Mahatim Chamum, this, and their great army, right? The great army of the sons of Pandu, the Pandava brothers. Vyudham, formed as they are for battle, and the chakra form. And what he adds there, Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. And your student, look there, your student there, the commander of chief of the Pandava army was what is called Drupada Putra, the son of King Drupad, whose daughter was Draupadi and married to the Pandavas. He was the commander-in-chief of the army. You put a commander-in-chief in place because you know that that individual is so fit that they will be the last man standing. They're so capable. Bhishma, Pitamaha, the great grandsire, who could, as I mentioned, decide his own time of death, he was put, and most powerful person on the whole Kaurava side, he was put as commander-in-chief. So that tells you about this son of King Drupad, what his great capacity and stature was. Among all the Pandavas, they chose him as commander-in-chief. Powerful to be the last man standing. And as though to tell Dronacharya that you made a mistake in teaching him, because look, he ended up being on the commander-in-chief on the other army, which is now set to kill you. So trying to poke at the ego of his guru, which is very insulting and inappropriate thing to do. You don't speak to your guru like that. What we are detecting in the words of Duryodhana is that everybody likes to say that I know better than you, isn't it? And if we get a chance, some people love to point out when their spouse or their sibling or their friend does something stupid. Yeah, go and ask them, go. You thought you were right, now you're wrong, go say that to everybody, what you were saying before. We like to show you don't know and I know better. So the wickedness of Duryodhana, so much so that he will even speak to his guru that way, to tell, look, you don't even know who to teach. And whoever you taught is now arrayed over there to fight. Look, and also using such things to try and stoke up anger in his army. Because Duryodhana feels that the way to motivate people is to pit one against the other, appeal to the ego in people and compliment them if they need be, or insult them, or make them affrighted. He feels that is the way to motivate. And it doesn't matter who he's speaking to. So he'll even insult his guru if he feels it is to his benefit. I can't help but share with you a little joke between a husband and wife. They were having an argument. And it boiled down to that point in any argument where it becomes about who is right and who is wrong. All arguments have been finished. And finally, the husband came up with an idea. He said, look, I will admit to you that I am wrong, if you admit that I am right. I will admit I'm wrong. I got it mixed up now. This never happened before. Let me see if I can get it. The husband says, I admit that I am wrong if you admit, and I will admit that you are right if you admit that you are wrong. So the wife was confused. It was even hard to tell. So she said, okay. He said, you go first. So she said, okay. I am wrong. He said, you are right. And then the whole fight started all over again. But anyways, that is the idea coming through here. So taunting his guru like that, then what happens? Let's see the next verse now. Of course, the guru would be insulted, be angry, unhappy with Duryodhana, right? Let's see what happens now. The next verse, verses 4, 5, and 6, we will chant together. They go together.
Arjuna Samayuhi Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
I lost track. I thought my class went till 8:30, but it only goes till 8. So we'll leave it here on verse 2, and we'll see everybody again next Thursday at 7 p.m. Please do bring your Bhagavad Gita with you. I encourage everyone to get this copy. It is a wonderful publication with the full commentary of Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda Ji and a rare summary of the whole 100,000 verses of Mahabharata. The whole story of Mahabharata is given in summary form. Fantastic. And an explanation of the Gita Dhyanam that we've been chanting in the beginning of every class. The meditation on Bhagavad Gita is also explained. These things you don't find anywhere. Plus, most importantly, the summary of each verse in a practical and also philosophically authentic way. Please do pick up your copy of the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Chinmayananda Ji, chapters 1 and 2, the green one. Okay. You can get it here at the ashram, and it is available other places. Just message to find out. Sri Krishna Sarajam in West Coast. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Quick announcement that Chinmay Mission Guyana has upcoming in July from the 14th to the 31st Kids Summer Camp. You can bring children to the ashram. If you need a ride from whatever village you might be in, we can help organize that also. It will be on Bhagavad Gita. It will have field trips and games and meeting heroes in the community and of course the messages of Bhagavad Gita through fun. So it is a wonderful day camp. Starts at 8:30 in the ashram here in Mon Repos. So please do bring the children out. There's not going to be anything like that. It's 3 weeks, Monday to Friday from July 14th, right? Okay. Hari Om everyone. See you soon.